9 News Broncos insider Mike Klis joins us now. Let's play Klis Tell. Mike, we heard embarrassed. Rock bottom, as bad as it's ever been. In your years of sports coverage, have you ever heard a team sound so defeated?
No, that was very embarrassing, especially for the defense. You know, I've been thinking about categorizing the worst defeats in Broncos history. The most humiliating to me was Super Bowl 48 in New York City against the Seattle Seahawks. They were behind. That was the high-powered Peyton Manning offense. They set all the offensive records, touchdowns, points. But then they came out on the very first snap, the game was over. All the chips and queso that was wasted by halftime with that one and only one game that everybody in the nation was tuning into. That was the most humiliating. But definitely this 70 put up, the Broncos giving up 70 and losing by 50, those are strong numbers. Definitely in the conversation for the worst defeat ever in Broncos history.
You know, I know you mentioned to me actually when you were covering that Peyton Manning team that it felt like you were watching history and covering history. And it kind of felt like that yesterday. 726 yards for the Dolphins, the most ever in the NFL. And you know what? Sean Payton said over the offseason, Mike, that last year's Bronco coaching was maybe the worst in NFL history. So what does that make this performance?
It makes it that Nathaniel Hackett all of a sudden has competition for that dubious distinction. That was, yeah, there's no doubt that Sean Payton, those words have come back to haunt him a little bit after yesterday. You know, around the league, I think a lot of people are saying karma is a bummer sometimes, and they thought, you know, maybe Sean Payton shouldn't have. Obviously, a lot of people thought Sean Payton shouldn't have said what he did, but I don't think that had much to do with yesterday. I think the biggest factor in that game yesterday, the reason it was so lopsided was that the Dolphins were so much faster than the Broncos. The speed was incredible. The Broncos picked up a little speed with Marvin Mims, who is fast, and Jaleel McLaughlin, who they haven't quite used yet. They haven't got him going. But the speed difference was incredible, and that's why it looked so bad. That's why there were so many missed tackles. When you're behind a step and a half against guys, you're going to be flailing and grabbing and looking weak in your tackle attempts. So just a complete mismatch. And let's see if the Broncos can get on track against the Bears this weekend, who are as bad as the Broncos looked on Sunday. The Bears are worse, and the Broncos must beat the Bears this Sunday at Soldier Field.
Mike, honestly, I can't wait. They lost by 31. The Broncos lost by 50. It's a minus 81 point differential. It might be the worst game ever in the history of Week 4 in the NFL, and I'm excited for it. Thanks for playing Klis Tell with us.